to the Businessmen and Women of Color podcast. I am your host, Ann Austin, and it is my pleasure to bring quality programs to all of you. I am so excited all the time in 2018 because we have so many amazing people on this platform this year. And again, we have another amazing project manager, somebody who's out there doing her thing. And I cannot wait to talk to her about what she's doing in her industry to share with you. So if you happen to miss this opportunity for you to get on this platform, please make sure you check us out at the end of the year where the call of speakers are going to come out for the 2019 BMWOC podcast season. Just in case you didn't know, the purpose of this podcast is to share our industry information and encourage you, the career seekers and enthusiasts, to look at the different trends of the market and see where you fit in terms of where your business or your career is going. So you can only do that if you visit all of the pages and you listen to all of the podcasts that we have on the platform this year, because there are so many amazing people there. You do not want to miss it. You have 8 weeks to go on and listen to a podcast, vote for your favorite, and share. Just share the information that you have gained so that someone else can come and take advantage of this unique opportunity. Before we get started in our interview today, we'd like to thank our corporate partners and sponsors, which are Kat Sereno, LLC, Cheryl Wood and Powers, Concern and Learning, Evangelism Radio, Genesis Preferred Solutions, J Coach International, Nell's Tax Help, My Financial Home, Power, STCI, and the Student Teacher, along with our other business partners and sponsors, and everyone who is supporting this event to make it successful. So today we have Bianca Jackson, who is a former award-winning project manager with over 12 years of experience managing IT infrastructure. She also does web, mobile, video, VR, AR projects for Fortune 500 companies such as United Health Group, Marriott, and US Today. She also speaks for consultants and colleges, women groups, and businesses who want to create diverse, equitable, and inclusive environments to attract and retain their best talent. And she also runs a career coaching practice that is designed to empower women with the tools and confidence to get what they need for their career and their lives. And so I want you to continue reading her bio because she also has some other things on here that would be interesting for you to read. And in the meantime, we're going to get right to it. Welcome, Bianca.
Hi.
Hey, girl. We're on here now.
I see. Thank you for the bio. Yeah, it is kind of long, so thanks for stopping.
You know what? It is quite all right. I'm gonna tell you, I just get so amazed, and you can tell because I got tongue tied, right? I get so amazed every time I read a bio because it just lets me know that people who look like us are really out there doing it, and I just can't wait to share that information. I just get really excited. So tell everybody where you're from and how did you get into project management?
Oh, that's interesting. So I was actually on a panel and they said, tell people where you're from. So I am from Philadelphia, North Philadelphia, born and raised. Currently, right now, I live in the Washington, D.C. area for the time being, but I'm looking to go somewhere else. And so that is literally my background. Like you say, bunch of years in tech, and now I'm on this entrepreneurial path, taking everything that I've learned and just really trying to help as many people as possible.
Fantastic. Okay, so you grew up and you went to school, and was there anything in your background that kind of just guided you to getting into the project management space? Was there anything in college or maybe that aha moment that you have? And I ask people these questions because it's really interesting to see how our development happens as we grow up and go through colleges and experience different things.
Yeah, actually, I wouldn't say project management was the route that I was trying to go. It's more around technology. So I love telling this story. I mean, I fell in love with technology at the age of 10. And that's when I got my first computers. And I grew up in an age where the internet wasn't really a thing that most people had in their homes. I don't want to date myself too much, but let's just say that for anyone who had internet, it was literally dial up. You took your phone, you plugged it in your computer, and you got the little sound, the ding, and you got mail. Like that's my era. So when I got my first computer, it was a big thing. I'm from North Philadelphia, and if you know anything about Philadelphia, at that time, it was very segregated, and it was segregated to a couple of years ago, where I lived in an environment where, everyone looked like me. I went to, I lived in Black neighborhoods. I went to Black schools. And, I was a bit of I guess, an anomaly, a unicorn of sense of, being interested in technology, loving computers, and wanting to know how they worked, not taking them apart, but really understanding how to use them. And so I learned how to code in middle school. I learned how to code in high school. And it wasn't until I got to college, I went to Drexel University in Philadelphia, where I realized that my world of, all Black and brown faces was just something that just existed in my little world, and that the real world consisted of me being a minority. So that, had its shape, or it had its effect on my life since then. So that's when I started to realize that there was a diversity problem in tech. So that's how project management came to be, a little bit out of my love for tech and wanting to learn more about tech and going to school to study in tech.
Okay. Well, as you know, fast forward into today, technology project management or IT project management is the hottest thing in the last few years. So,
Mhm.
can you give those folks that are listening to your podcast some insight of your experience being an African American woman in this space? Because I always like to highlight us in this space as far as technology, because it is such a difficult industry to be in, particularly if you're a Black woman. And so, by being in project management, did that actually, afforded you extra leverage for your business or your practice, or, kind of talk about those experiences?
Sure, absolutely. So, if you know anything about tech in general, women represent about 25% of tech employees in the United States. Then, when you really want to break that down and start looking at women of color, we are, this really small mere percent of 1 to 3%. So, when I talk about this, I tell people I've been a unicorn for a really long time, being in spaces where, oftentimes I was the only person that looked like me in a room from, a color perspective, and also being a woman, and then also having the two layer up on each other of being the only Black woman in a room. It has afforded me a lot of opportunities to learn about technology, to work for really cool companies, to meet really amazing and smart people. And I took all of that information, all of that knowledge, and leveraged it in my own business. So, something as simple as having a website, I built my first 2 or 3 websites on my own because I knew how to do it. While I was a project manager, my love for tech started in coding. I learned how to build websites. I knew how to integrate them with databases and how to query databases. So I used all that information to really get me started in my business. And because of that, I was able to use different marketing tools and integrate it with my website and my email, and really just get myself started in the business realm. And now, I'm like, there's so many other things that I can be doing with my time that I outsource all that stuff now. So
Oh, fantastic. Okay.
yeah. I mean, sometimes you just got to get to a point where you just need to invest in yourself and realize that as an entrepreneur, you're better at some things than others. So, one of the biggest lessons that they tell you when you're an entrepreneur is that you can't do everything, or you shouldn't try to do everything. Of course, you want to make your business lean as possible, but your job as an entrepreneur is figuring out how you bring in the money. And if there's someone else that you can pay that can do this task for you, that can do it faster than you while you do something else, then that's a good investment. So
Yeah.
that's pretty much how. Oh, you really were you going to say something?
No, I was saying, well, I mean, but you're saying true points right there. You definitely have to invest in yourself. And I like the fact that you've actually used your talent of web development to take it to a whole new level. And speaking of coding, I know that in the last year and a half, there's been some organizations that are promoting young women to do coding more,
Hmm.
particularly for web development and mobile apps.
Hmm.
So you have that mobile app background. Talk about your experience with that, and maybe also give some really good best practices if someone wants to code for a living, or they have a kid that goes to school and they're really good at it. Like my son, he actually got a certification in web development, and trying to encourage him to stick with it. It's not an easy thing to have to deal with all of the codes and the C++ and all the other languages that go into it.
Mhm.
But
Yeah.
if you kind of share like some of the really good stuff about it, then it'll probably change some folks' minds.
Yeah, I would say so. I just want to make sure I'm clear on this. So, my particular background is in web development. I've managed plenty of mobile app projects. So, if you ask me to actually code a mobile app, I would just throw my hands up in the air and point at the next person. But I will tell you this though, when it comes to tech and it comes to programming languages, by far the most beneficial thing that you can do is get certifications
Mm-hmm.
and learn the hottest, newest code that's out there. So like right now it's Java, it's Python, it's
Mm-hmm.
kind of like HTML5. Those are the types of languages that you want to get certifications, and you don't necessarily need to get whole degrees. You can go to General Assembly to learn how to code in some of these languages, or you can do some of the online programs in tech. It's far more important to have the certification to back up that you are able to actually have this skill versus having the degree. And I know that may sound a little bit weird and odd for people, but that's literally where we are as a society, that many organizations want to know you know the skill. They don't really care too much that you spent the last 4 years learning it. Like, show me you're certified in it, that you can do it, you can actually write something that is going to be useful and valuable, and then go from there. Languages
Mm-hmm.
languages change all the time. So, if you're going to be dedicated to programming, on just make sure that you look at what is up and coming and what is in demand right now. Don't spend too much time on something that was hot 5 years ago, because then you're wasting your time.
Absolutely, absolutely. And research is definitely the key. One of the ways, and I'm going to add this to your list, Bianca, is that one of the ways that you can find out what is hot in your industry is going to the Department of Labor website. Go to the
Mhm.
DOL website, go to the Department of Bureau of Labor Statistics, and they keep records all the time on what industries are out there,
Mhm.
specifically in technology. How many people are in those positions? What degree level do you need to have that's been popular for organizations who are hiring people that are doing programming and other type of web development or mobile app development? You can find so much information about what industry is going up or down or declining. And you can also find out about your salary information. So it's just really important to get all of that research in. So now that
Oh,
you have, oh,
can
you
I
want
add
to add
something to
something? Go
that?
ahead and
Yeah,
add
I was
something.
going to say emerging technology. So don't just
Yes.
look at coding. So look at areas like AI, data science, VR, so virtual reality, augmented reality, blockchain.
Oh, yeah.
Um, Everything that is quote unquote somewhat of a buzzword, look into those things now, because as the emerging technology changes, so will all the language and all the skills required for them will start to change as well.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Definitely for sure. I know that right now, STEM is very important. All of the stems that's going to help you get there. We need more engineers. We need more programmers who look like us in this space to help develop new applications.
Hmm.
And we need that. We need that emerging technology, as Bianca said, to keep things rolling and to also keep us abreast on how we can create new things. And we
Hmm.
can't do that if we're not involved in it. So,
Exactly.
yeah, that's right. Bianca, don't
Exactly.
get me started on here, Bianca. 'Cause
No,
I
let's get started. I actually just came back from South by Southwest, which is a really huge conference,
Oh,
and a
yeah.
lot of the conversations that I've been having with other millennial entrepreneurs there
Mhm,
have been, how do we get more of us into this creation
mhm.
role, right? Where we kind of move from wanting to be just employees to we start creating jobs, becoming entrepreneurs, and that's where the real power is. So, of course, learn a skill, but think about it as, how can you eventually turn this skill into a business that you can support yourself in the future? And that's what I tell everybody that I talk to.
Right. And that leads right into the next segment. Do you have a career coaching practice? So
Yes.
talk to us about that and how did you transition to that?
Well, you know what? Throughout my career, I've been able to navigate the corporate waters, the murky corporate waters with the sharks in it, really well. And I found that a lot of people have a hard time understanding how the game is played. So, and helping my friends and helping my family members, and also just using the same tactics that I've used myself, I'm like, oh man, this stuff works, right? So it doesn't just work on me, it works for other people too. And I realized I had a business. So then I started helping people, coaching them through, how do you brand yourself? How do you position yourself? What do you say in phone screens and interviews, and, and just really how to stand out. And that's how it came. And I got even more specific. I niched down to just women, because one of the things I was realizing is that, no disrespect to men out there or anyone who's listening who's a man, but women were really getting the short end of the stick, from pay to work schedules to them feeling like they can't stand up for themselves, for them not just having confidence. And I know confidence is an issue that both men and women have, but for women, it was really sad to hear some of the stories that I was hearing, single moms who had been working in, the same position for years and felt uncomfortable asking for a raise, especially a raise that they deserved. And I just got fed up. I was, it was like that moment where I like turned over the table, if there was a table around, where I said, enough is enough. How can I help women out there, use some of the things that have helped me to really help them, further their careers along. So that's how that got started. And it just kind of
Mhm.
took off.
Yeah, a lot of us, particularly women, we do have the short end of the stick. But also, I kind of feel like that it's still our responsibility to find ways to rise above it.
Mhm.
And it plays on our psyche, it plays on our confidence to ask questions.
Mhm.
And so, like you, this podcast is another way to build confidence for people like yourself to share your thoughts. And so they don't feel like they're alone. And so, for the folks that are listening, now that you have the information, you're armed with over 200 people on this platform doing stuff. There is really no excuse now. You know what I
Right.
mean? So
Mhm.
when you got people like Bianca and all these career professionals, and you have myself, and we have these events, or we have these workshops or webinars or whatever, you need to join in. You need to learn it, even if you think you know, because a lot of times we don't act on it because we don't know. It's always the unknown, right? So,
Right.
but if we know something that's going to help you in your situation, then that's when you need to take responsibility. So I think it's a twofold thing, and
Mhm.
I get very passionate too. I'm gonna tell you, I've turned over some tables. Okay? I turned over the tables because of the youth not having the ability to have a leg up. I will say, not to kind of throw some schools out there, but there are some school districts out there that is not stepping up to the plate to make sure that students know about different careers out there other than the
Mhm.
traditional. And I say it all the time, there is more than being a lawyer, a doctor, or working at McDonald's. Okay.
Yeah.
These are not the three choices. And so, like you, I've literally tossed up the table and really am kind of driving myself up the mountain, with the bowling ball coming towards me saying, hey, this has to be heard. We need more opportunities for our young people, and the parents of those young people need to be more responsible in taking their kids to these events. Bring
Mhm.
them so that they become aware, and not just come out when there's a concert, or come out when you want to go to dinner, or come out when you want to see a movie.
I was
Come
about to
out,
say Black Panther.
Black Panther, the Marvel comics,
Yes.
Captain America, all that. I figured like this: if you can spend $50 on movie tickets, popcorn, and a drink, you can spend $25 for a workshop that would change your life. And
Absolutely.
it's all
Absolutely.
about investment. So yeah, every time I get on here with another career coach, we get on here, we get all upset. We
Well,
do.
no, let's not call this upset. We trying to empower some people out there. It's just
Yes,
like,
yes,
like you said. I think it's really interesting where we put value, right?
yes.
We will spend $200, $300 on the Jay-Z and Beyonce on the Run concert, but when you start asking people to put that same amount of money into their professional development, they start looking at you crazy. Well, I want anyone listening to this, stop looking at yourself crazy, or looking at the person who's telling you this amount. Like, literally, that $200 or $300 investment could literally help you add tens of thousands of dollars to your salary. So for me, I like that return on investment. You're not
Yeah.
getting anything back from Beyonce and Jay-Z on the
No,
bus.
no, I can tell you right now, just by tapping into other people who were career development coaches,
Mhm.
as I was building my career development coaching and strategy, because I had to learn too, not only just from my own, experiences, but I had to learn from other people who were doing it. And what happened with me was that I was able to maneuver very easily and earn the money that I was looking for, as opposed to like that point you made where you're just sitting there waiting for someone to either ask for a raise or wait for someone to say, here, I think you should deserve a raise.
Mhm.
This gives you the power to write your own check,
Yep.
to go to the career that you want, and even take your talents, like so many of these folks on this platform have done, and make additional income for yourself.
Right.
It's really all about, like you said, just stepping out of your comfort zone. And so we are empowering you, listeners, to step out of your comfort zone and really go out there and just learn it. So, okay, so I'm gonna get off my soapbox right now because I get so passionate about these things, I just can't help it. Okay, so are you involved right now with any new workshops that's coming up? Because we want to give people the opportunity to know there are workshops coming up in the summer months or in the months to come after that, in which they can come out and get career training somewhere, webinar, maybe have you come and do a workshop somewhere.
I mean, that would be amazing. I would love that. I love speaking about this stuff. So if anyone wants to bring me to their event conference, please let me know. I
Okay.
think the conference information will be on here. But I mean, as far as what I got left on my schedule for the next month or two, I'll definitely be in Jacksonville, Florida, April 4th. So I'll be at the Women and Minorities in Technology Conference. So I'm really excited about that. I'll be talking about virtual reality and how women shape the virtual reality and augmented reality and how women have shaped the landscape. So I'll be focusing on what career opportunities are available, what business opportunities, because I think sometimes when we go to conferences, we hear about ideas in theory and not necessarily how can this apply to me right now. So that's what I'll be speaking about at the Jacksonville conference. And then there's an opportunity for me to actually speak in Prague for the Society of Women Engineers, which I'm really excited about. I'm not sure if anyone listening here will be from Prague or in Prague at the time, but that's another place. And right now I'm just building out the rest of my calendar. I've been traveling extensively since the beginning of the year, so I'm glad that I'm kind of rolling up on this slowdown period. Oh, actually, I will be speaking in DC on the marketing effects of VR on April 19th. So April 4th, Jacksonville, April 19th, DC, and then I think May 17th, May 16th, I'll be in Prague. So yeah, that's what's going on. But I am open to go anywhere, and as you can see, anywhere around the world. So I'm excited about it.
Oh crap. Okay. Yeah, that's exciting. I'm gonna tell you right now, I've never been out of the country anywhere. Okay. I need to do that. I need to go out there. And I really applaud the fact that you are taking it overseas and into other places and other cultures, and just really bringing the awareness across the country. And that right there is amazing. I think it's amazing. I know for myself, I have a Get the Job workshop that's going to be April 28th. And then I also have a Veterans Biz Up conference for veterans, which is going to talk about career, business, and health and wellness. And so all of that information is going to be on my website if anybody's interested in that. And depending on what's going on in between that time in the podcast, I may do another career development. But outside of that, I do business development workshops and I do all kinds of stuff. You just need to contact me so you can get in on some of this stuff, okay? Because it's most of this stuff is, don't cost you hardly anything, and some of this stuff is free, but not coming out costs you everything. It
Yep,
does. It
absolutely.
really does.
Absolutely.
Yes, yes, yes. So, if somebody wanted to be, I would say, a career strategist or work in career development, what is your three pieces of advice that you would give to someone who wants to do what you do?
I would say first and foremost, figure out an area that you can specialize in, right? So just don't say you're a career coach. For me, one of the things that I've done is, I lead on personal branding. So I think I've done a pretty good job on LinkedIn. LinkedIn is like my go-to tool when it comes to personal branding. So I speak about personal branding, and that's kind of like how I get kind of like the lead flow going is starting there, and then eventually talking to people about just general coaching altogether. I would say the second thing is be very specific about who you really want to serve. um, I found that when I started my business, I was helping everybody, and it was a little tiring because one of the things, that, again, no disrespect to men out there, y'all don't listen. So I got tired of working with the male clients. There were some that were really good, but in general, they didn't listen. So I specifically just focused on women, and women who were tired of not holding themselves accountable, that they really wanted to see significant change in their lives. And those were the women that I started to help. Sometimes you'll find that, you'll have people reach out to you and want to work with you, but they may not even have the right mindset to actually get the results that they're looking for. And then that can lead down a really terrible path. So be very specific about the type of people that you want to work with. And I would say 3, don't think that you have to be a certain type of way. Like literally just be who you are so that you can help your clients feel more comfortable with you. So what I mean by that is that normally when you think about career coach, you think of someone like in a suit. If it's a female, you think about pearls with the hands crossed across the arms or whatever. And I've seen some really cool career coaches on LinkedIn. Some that look kind of like punk rockers, and it may seem a little bit different out of the norm, but ultimately what you want to get is just really being yourself and have people gravitate to you who feel comfortable with who you are and who you're projecting to be. So like literally just be who you are, and then you'll get the type of clients that you're looking for.
Yeah, absolutely. And I would like to add to that, to one of your points, is that be in particular who you will work for.
Mm-hmm.
I would strongly suggest that you give them at least a 5 or 10 minute conversation to find out where they are in their head, of where they want to go, how they want to get there, and whether or not they are ready to move forward.
Yeah.
Because a lot of times you can go gun ho in trying to help someone with their resume or with their career, and then they fall flat, and then you get frustrated because they're not moving at your speed. So a
Mm-hmm.
lot of times what I would do is I would talk to them for 10 minutes to kind of see where they at, how soon they're willing to make a move. And this will actually help you build a relationship with them before you actually work with them. And this is also another opportunity for you to express your type of expectation so that they have a clear understanding of who they are dealing with. And when you do that, they are more comfortable of paying your price and following what you say. I don't know about you, Bianca. I got guys that listen to me. So I got them to listen to me.
uh,
I do think they're pretty proud, but at the same time,
mm-hmm.
I sort of found a way to say what I need to say and get them to follow some instructions, and it seems to
Mm-hmm.
work out so far. But there's a lot of men out there that don't even come out at all that I want to encourage coming out at all. So no disrespect to men, but you guys need to come to these events. You really, really do, and get the information so that you can be better prepared as well. We have so much stuff going on for women to empower women, and we want to empower you too. So you have to come out to these events, and we encourage you to do that. So I'm going to end this thing by letting Bianca give her contact information so you can find her, have her come out to speak, her website, and all that stuff.
Oh, well, thank you. Thanks for having me, first off. So if anyone's interested in reaching me, you can hit up my website is literally biancajjackson.com. My email list is there. I made a dedication. I dedicated myself to writing daily emails. So kind of like career advice, funny stories. It's my take on career stuff. So you might find it funny, you may not, but I like to joke around. So I do that. There's tons of information on the site about speaking. And then I'm most active on LinkedIn. LinkedIn is like my platform. So if you use LinkedIn, if you want to learn how to use LinkedIn more, I would suggest contacting me or connecting with me on there. So I am Bianca J. Jackson, MBA PMP. This is only for branding purposes, so you'll be able to find me really easily on the platform. But I'm on there and I'm connected to thousands of people. So hopefully you'll be able to join me.
All right, all right. So there you have it, folks. You have Bianca Jackson here, who is a professional in project management and IT. She also has that career background that we all need all the time. And so, just summarizing the points of this particular interview, it's just really sharing with you the importance of having someone who's a career strategist to help you with your career. And career also means business.
Yeah.
So, it's not just you getting a job, but it's also how do you create jobs and how do you become an entrepreneur. So we want to encourage you to continue learning, to come out, get this information so that you can know, so you know how to maneuver and better yourself in terms of how can you move up the ladder or get out of a career situation or business situation. But you could do that by just connecting with Bianca and all of these other HR professionals, career strategists that's on this platform. You have the information, there's contact right there. So I want you to reach out to Bianca. Her number is below. Hey, you know what to do. You know what to do. So thank you so much, Bianca, for coming on the podcast and sharing your story. I really had a blast talking to you. And I'm really, really excited that you are going global with your career development practice. And I'm just really elated about that.
Oh, thank you.